Hello rock stars, Matt Vanderbo here. Hey, in my last video, I shared 2 pieces of advice that I was given that took the form of mantras that I live by. And so today I want to share one more piece of wisdom. This doesn't come from me. It's a no-brainer that you've probably heard a million times, but it bears repeating, especially in this business. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share my spin on this tried and true old adage to live by. Now, the piece of advice I'm going to share with you that I'm sure you've heard so many times that you're sick of hearing it is to simply don't quit. That's it. Case closed, end of story, period, exclamation mark. Don't quit. If you want to see anything good in life and want to achieve the success that you set out to achieve, you cannot quit before you get there. Like, this is duh, but it needs to be said because so many people, when they're in the trenches and they're getting bombarded by rejection after rejection, after failure, this can weigh a person's mental state down so far that far too many people just wave the white towel and they walk away from music production and stop chasing what was their dream. And it's just so terribly tragic to see, and I wish it didn't happen, but it does, and that's the reality. I see this all the time as I'm a fairly active participant in a few online musical forums, and I see the same stories over and over and over again. People get into this business and they have all these dreams of what they want to achieve and how fast they want to get there. And then when those dreams fail to materialize after a year or 2 years, these people drift away and they say,
well, this is all just one giant scam.
Or,
this music business is not for me.
Or,
only a few people ever make money in this industry and I'm clearly not one of them, so I'm going to go back to just making music for fun.
And that's fine. If you want to make music for fun, that's great, but that should be your goal from the outset. If your goal from the beginning is to make money, then you do need to know that it is going to take a while to get there, and you have to keep going even though your bank account and your wife and your brother-in-law or whoever is telling you,
hey, you just need to close the books on those dreams, buddy boy.
There's a music conference that I go to every year, and I've mentioned it on this channel numerous times. It's called the Taxi Road Rally. And I've been going to this conference for, 12 or 13 years now. But in my early years, I got to know a few people that were in the same position as me. We were just getting started, and I saw them year after year after year for probably something like 3 to 5 years. And we got to be fairly friendly with each other. And then all of a sudden, they stopped going to the conference. And a couple years would go by, like, I haven't seen so-and-so in a while. And then more years would go by, still haven't seen so-and-so. So I'd send some of these people an email and be like, hey, are you alive, first of all, but are you still working on music? And by and large, the responses I got was, yeah, I'm not really doing that anymore. It didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to. And so these people went on to other jobs or reprioritized things in their life, and they let their musical dreams just fall by the wayside. Meanwhile, here's me. I just kept going and going and going, and I never stopped. So my career went like this, whereas theirs went like this. And it was heartbreaking for me to see this with all of these people that I really, truly liked and cared for. And my heart just went out to them because they gave up prior to getting the success that they wanted, without realizing that that success might have only been a year away. And now fast forward all these years later, I'm starting to see these same people come back to the music conference after taking a hiatus from the music business in general for the past 5 or 6 years. And now they're jumping back in again, which is awesome. And I wish them all the best in the world. But part of me also thinks, where would you have been by now if you never would have stopped? And I don't want to rub salt into these people's wounds. And I'm sure what I'm saying right now is something that they have said to themselves thousands of times over the past 5 or 6 years as they're laying in bed at night, just thinking, where would I be now if I would have kept working for those 5 or 6 years instead of quitting? But like I said earlier, the weight of rejection does weigh on a person. But I want you guys to know, and hopefully you're getting this out of all my videos, that rejection is inevitable. Failure is there. It is waiting for you like a tiger in your bedroom, a grizzly bear outside of your camping tent, Elon Musk outside the doors of the Treasury Department. These things are there and they are waiting for you. So you just can't give in to the temptation of quitting. You need to stare those inevitable failures in the face and just say, hey, I'm better than you. And you keep moving forward. Now, I know that there are always going to be shifting priorities in life, and sometimes we get dealt a hand of cards that takes us away from music. Certain things should take priority over music. I get it. I understand it. Do not feel bad if music has to take a back seat. But still, even if it takes a backseat, don't throw it out the window. So there's a difference between slowing down and quitting entirely. Now look, we are all making music for different reasons. Some people want to turn it into a full-time job. Some people want an extremely high-paying full-time job. Ding, ding, ding. Other people just want to make a little extra money. Some people are just in it for the novelty of getting their music on a show, and some people are just in it for the pleasure of making music. And any one of these goals is perfectly fine and acceptable. But do know that the level of success you are shooting for is going to dictate the amount of time it takes to get there. And there is no one-size-fits-all timeline to this stuff. Everyone is going to arrive at their destination at a different time than others, as long as they don't get off the bus. But even though our timelines are all going to be different, I can guarantee you one thing, that no matter where you want to get in this musical world, it will always take you far longer to get there than you wanted it to. So I'm going to give you an analogy here that can hopefully put this in perspective so that you can arm yourself with the right mindset for success. And I want you to think of the early years of your musical career as no different than going to college. When you went to college, you did not have any hopes or aspirations that you would make money by sitting in a classroom, right? We are sitting through lectures, we're going to labs, we're doing all these things because we know it's a requirement that will eventually lead to a degree. And we're trying to get the degree so that when we get out of college, we can get a better, more high-paying job, command a higher salary, and make more money. But for those 4 or 5 years it takes you to get through your program, you're not making anything. I don't suppose there's a single person in this world that thinks that they can sit through an art history lecture and then walk out the door and collect a paycheck just because they sat through the lecture. I mean, to think that would be the height of lunacy. But on the same token, people come to the musical field and they want to be paid and they want to start making money within their first couple of years. And it's just not going to happen. So let's go back to the college analogy. If it takes you 4 or 5 years to get through school, you are perfectly willing and happy to put in that work because you know the payoff is down the road. And all the work you are doing now and not getting paid anything for is just building your skill sets and making you a better, more rounded individual that is more highly skilled in their field so that when you do get out, you can command all this money over here. Well, the first few years of your musical journey are going to be like going to college. You're going to spend about 6 months to a year just getting your feet under you. And then it's going to be another 6 months to another year before you really understand how to make a good, usable piece of production music, whether it's a television instrumental cue or a song written specifically for TV. And then after you get through that opening year or two, then it'll be a while until you start getting traction with music libraries and until you've got enough music in the general marketplace to start getting placements on shows. All of this stuff is a long time coming, so it's just like going to college. We know that for college, you have to put the free time in so you get the payout later. So I want you to apply that same mentality to your musical career. Be willing to put in the years of work now, knowing that you are not going to get much of anything out of it other than experience and getting better. But put in all that time now, knowing that the real monetary reward is much further down the line. And the only way you're going to get to these rewards over here is by not quitting. So now, before I wrap this up, I want to take our don't quit mantra and put my own little spin on it. This is what I tell people all the time. It's not just don't quit. It is to simply outlast the competition. And it means the same thing as don't quit, but it gives you a different way to look at things. If the path to musical success is littered with dropouts, then every time that you see someone fall by the wayside and give up, that should be motivation for you to redouble your efforts so you can springboard past all the dead bodies that are littering the path to musical success. Outlast the competition. So you are going to see it the longer you stay in this industry, that people come into this world expecting great results, and they think it's all going to happen very quickly and that they are going to be rich extremely soon. And you're going to watch these people go from these hardworking, dedicated musical craftsmen to dropout. Because when they don't get what they want in a year or two, they're gone. And when you see those people disappear and fall off the radar, that should tell you one thing. Now's your chance to work twice as hard. Put the pedal to the metal and keep going. Do not quit. Quitting is the worst thing that you can do, and it is the only way to guarantee complete failure in this business. So don't be a quitter. And now to end on a Valentine's joke, since it's close to Valentine's Day, what is the best kind of triangle to ask out on a date? A cute triangle. Hasta luego, people!